Hello, my name is Ángel Manuel Olmos. I am the CEO of eCauda and Professor of Musicology at the Royal Conservatory of Music of Madrid. Thanks for having accepted this short communication. It's a real pleasure to be here. In this short communication, I'm going to introduce you to eCauda, which is a musical instrument traceability platform. First of all, I will answer the most immediate question. Why do I need to trace the musical instruments in my collection or museum? I'm going to offer several reasons, which I hope are convincing enough, although there are many others that I will leave out. Firstly, because we need to know their history and when we acquire them. It seems a simple enough thing, but if we look at the statistics of forgery and smuggling of musical instruments, we can see that it is one of the goods most affected by this scourge. This means that without a certified history of the instrument, we may find that we have bought a copy whose value is null because it's a mere copy or because its history is directly false. The second reason why we must trace the instruments, it is because it helps us to manage lending, locations, imports and exports. If we have in a register all the data of the instrument and the documentation showing the type of agreement by which the ownership, use or cession has been ceded, it will be easier to manage this type of transactions and the inventory of our collection. We will also have all the documentation related to its monetary value, insurance, and purchase price. Third reason, museums that have their works certified as authentic receive more visitors. I see here three very relevant studies, although there are dozens that reproduce similar conclusions. According to MacLean, for example, visitors want a reverential experience. The authenticity of an object provides them with a moment of communion that it is not found with objects whose authenticity is in doubt or are directly copies or forgeries. Cohen, in his study that it is now some years old, shows that tourists are looking for authenticity and value, be it monetary value or any other kind of value. Finally, several authors indicate that museums should play a predominant role in the creation of authenticity. They are recognized scientific institutions and their opinions are highly valued by visitors. I hope that I have convinced you by now of the merits of traceability, but if not, the last one will convince you. We are obliged by law to do so. Each country has its own regulations in this respect, but we have in common frameworks that ask to protect cultural goods by using traceability. Being European, I have mainly chosen the legislation applicable to Europe, but there are similar laws in almost all countries. Chronologically speaking, the Treaty of the European Economic Union, now European Union, in several articles mentions the need for traceability. In 1992, more concrete obligations were introduced, such as the creation of registers of cultural property and national treasures. Finally, in 2017, with the word traceability already part of the widely accepted concepts, the adoption of systems that can guarantee the traceability of cultural property was recommended. In a broader geographical framework, the UNESCO approved in Article 10 of the November 1970 Convention that all those who come into contact with cultural property should be obliged to record the origin of each item, its price, and the applicable export prohibitions. One of the biggest problems with software packages commonly used in collection management is the unreliability of their records, something that eCauda, of course, doesn't have. After all, if we use proprietary software hosted in the cloud, the provider can make any changes that they want without any record anywhere. The problem does not disappear when we host the databases in our own servers. The fact is that anything that can be changed and any trace that a record has been changed can be removed. Moreover, For this reason, immutability of the database is a feature that this type of software should have, but none of them do. The software is often thought of as a silo. Transactions between collections are complicated or even impossible if they use different software at each end, as that the databases are centralized. Another problem with these local or centralized databases is that in case of problems or attacks, it is impossible to rebuild without the existence of any of an up-to-date backup. And we all know that these backups are made on a daily basis, right? Nor do the existing software packages allow to certify operations performed on the instrument. It is not possible to certify the operation with a digital signature of a restorer, repairer, or tuner, for example. But don't worry, eCauda comes to the rescue. So what is eCauda? eCauda is an ecosystem of applications using decentralized blockchain technologies that ensures the traceability of any musical instrument. Each instrument is uniquely identified and recognized with the help of artificial intelligence and computer vision. We already have an alpha version of an algorithm that identifies instruments of the violin family through the patterns of the wood of their backs. Other algorithms read serial numbers and recognize other unique patterns of the instrument, making it impossible to be recorded twice. In this way, a stolen instrument could never re-enter the system. eCauda allows the creation of smart contracts that can track the status of instruments even when they are temporarily no longer in our possession or when they have been sold. Specific actions can be scheduled at specific times, and permissions for use can be assigned to other eCauda users. In addition, all the descriptive and historical multimedia information about the instrument can be stored in its record, which can be accessed through a simple QR code. The museum can always decide what kind of information it wants to share. In this way, the production of websites of each instrument is immediate and at a zero cost. We also use for modern instruments that will enter your museums in the future, RFID chips and MAC addresses of devices with Wi-Fi connectivity. You probably already know what the blockchain is all about, but as it is sometimes confused with Bitcoins, I prefer to give you a quick summary of the basics. Blockchain, it is not really a currency. It is a kind of database. It differs from the normal databases we have all used at some time in the way it stores information. Blockchain does this by storing blocks that depend on each other and are chained together. When a new piece of data arrives in the system, a new block is created, storing the specific date and time and the content of the transaction. The records are immutable. If any of the previous ones is modified, the chain of dependencies is broken and the alarm is triggered in the rest of the decentralized servers that have replicated the rest of the operations. By consensus, they will rewrite the correct operation, preventing the system from being modified. It seems that eCauda is a very solid solution for museums, but maybe we are not so convinced that sharing information is a good thing for our museum. Although it is an optional feature, the creation of websites with instrument information could affect physical visits and income from ticket sales, as visitors could access the instrument information virtually. In reality, the evidence shows that the opposite is true. Studies by Taheri, McLean, Martin, Navarrete, and others show that museums' websites complement and contribute to the increase of physical visits to museums that have made the decision to open their collections to digital format. eCauda facilitates this transition in a quick and easy way. The next question you may be asking yourself is, okay, this is all very nice, but how much does it cost? my museum can't afford this kind of investment. eCauda is great, so it will be super mega expensive. Well, it won't. It is free forever, no turning back. Why? Two reasons. Firstly, because our business model does not come from museums, but from the big instrument brands that want to sell more. It would take too long to describe how we help them, so I'm not going to do it. But if you are interested, just visit our website. The second reason is because at eCauda we love historical instruments. I am a professor of musicology myself, and the whole team shares a passion for music and the instruments that produce it, especially when they have a history. I am, for example, a proud owner of an 1890 Steinway piano, among other instruments with a certain history. So the excuse that all this is too expensive doesn't hold water. We have already been trusted by institutions such as the European Union, which awarded a JUMP fellowship to the project as one of the most innovative technological initiatives on the European music scene. And we have reached agreements with the Spanish National Heritage to work with their historical collections. With the CSIC in Spanish, CSIC, and the CVC in Barcelona, the Computer Vision Center, we are working on different aspects of traceability and algorithms. So that's all I wanted to tell you in this communication. We are looking for museums that want to work with us in pilot projects, all at zero cost. If you're interested in this possibility, as well as in knowing more about our project, don't hesitate contacting us. So thank you very much.